Well, hello everybody. I'm Jerry Emge, a realtor here in Southern California, covering Western Riverside County primarily. I'm with Keller Williams The Lakes in Lake Elsinore, California, and I produce these videos on a regular basis, usually once a week, usually every Thursday by 10 o'clock in the morning, and quite often, more often than that. So I cover a wide variety of real estate topics, and once in a while I'll even cover very specific information about some of the areas I serve. Today's topic is one that applies to most buyers of real estate that need to get a loan. Now, if you're a cash buyer, these things probably won't apply to you. But for anybody that needs to get a loan, whether it's a high loan-to-value loan or a low loan-to-value loan, in other words, whether you need to borrow a lot of the money for the house or just a portion of it because you're putting a lot of money down, these things will apply. Because you're basically applying to borrow money from somebody, usually a bank or a mortgage company, and they have certain criteria they want to always look at. I'm going to run through about 5 different things that are important in this loan process. These are the hoops and hurdles you got to jump through sometimes to get that home loan. Number 1 is what we call pre-approval. You got to work closely with your lender during this initial process, especially because they're going to ask for a lot of information. And so you want to have that information hopefully at your fingertips, but you want to be able to find it fairly quickly and get it into their hands. I don't want you to confuse this pre-approval process with pre-qualification. You know, we all get these pre-qualification letters in the mail for credit cards and all kinds of things. And that just means you meet some very, very basic criteria, but it doesn't mean you're pre-approved for a loan. Even quite often you get one of those pre-qualification credit card things, you fill out the application and you're turned down because you really weren't pre-approved, you were just pre-qualified. So don't get the two confused. Work closely with your lender to get pre-approved before you even go out house shopping. What good is it to go out and shop for houses that are going to take a $500,000 loan when you're only approved for $450,000? So you've just wasted yours and your real estate agent's time looking in the wrong places. So get pre-approved, know how much money you qualify for, you're approved for, and then you can start shopping for a house that is, that category or less. The second thing is during this whole process, from the day you talk to a lender to start the pre-approval process until you close on a home someday, you got to keep your credit clean as a whistle. I like to call it as keeping your credit quiet. Don't do stupid things like buy a car or major appliances or furniture or whatever it may be. When you're in this process, it's all going to affect your credit score, and your credit score is going to be checked multiple times during this process. Don't do anything to mess it up. The third thing that's important through this loan process is that once you've picked out a house and you've made an offer and its offer's been accepted, you're going to have your lender is going to require an appraisal. So you've got to really nail that appraisal. If the house comes back and it doesn't appraise, let's say you're buying a house for $500,000, and that's what your loan's going to be, and the house comes back and it's only appraised for $470,000. Well, you either got to cough up the other $30,000 or start the whole process over again, unless you could talk the seller into dropping their price, which, by the way, can happen on occasion. But usually what it does is it says, okay, let's find another house. That house didn't work out, we're going to find another one. So that's called nailing the appraisal down. A fourth thing you want to do is at least 3 days before you close on the loan, your lender is required by law to provide you with a closing disclosure, which is going to enumerate all the charges and costs associated with closing on the loan and getting the house. So that way you know at least 3 days ahead of time exactly what you're going to need to bring to the table at closing, how much cash or what credits you need to get or whatever it may be. So that's an important step. The last thing you want to do is show up at the closing table having not looked at or gotten that disclosure, and all of a sudden find out, gee, I need to have another $2,000. If I'd have known this 3 days ago, I could have gotten it. So very important issue. And the final thing I want to talk about is you've got to really nail the underwriting process. Once you've gone through all of this, the loan, before it gets funded, it goes through a final underwriting, and your underwriter will once again pull your credit for probably the final time. You got to make sure you haven't done anything to disturb that credit. That's why I say keep the credit profile quiet during this whole process. During this process, you want to make sure you haven't taken on any new debt, or that any old debt has surfaced. Let's say an old school loan that didn't show up on the original credit check, if you will, and bam, all of a sudden it shows up, and man, it's going to really screw things up. We've got to nail this underwriting process. Not much you can do about it except keep things quiet, and make sure that in the loan approval process that you disclosed everything. Don't try to hide it, and then when it shows up at underwriting, because underwriting is more stringent than pre-approval or pre-qualification. The last thing the underwriter will do is do a final review of the appraisal to make sure that all the lenders' ducks are in a row as far as, remember, the house you're buying and taking out a loan on is going to serve as collateral for that lender. So they want to make sure that their collateral is solid, and they get that information from the appraisal. Anyway, hey, that's all I wanted to talk about today. Thank you so much for watching my videos. If you get a chance to like them, hit the thumbs up like. Subscribe. I'd love if you'd subscribe to my channel. After you subscribe, you can hit the little notification bell, and you'll be notified when new videos go live. So thank you so much for watching my videos, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye-bye.